Hi, my name is Arun, and this is Paying Attention to the Algorithm Behind the Curtain. YouTube allows people who publish on its platform, which are dubbed content creators, to earn revenue through their YouTube Partner Program. This works by advertisements being shown on the video published by content creators, who then get a portion of the advertising revenue. And when advertisers do not want their ads displayed on a given video, it'll be deemed as not advertiser-friendly content, which results in that video not generating revenue for the creator since it has no ads present. And the act of preventing ads from showing on a video, in which they were once showed before, is known as demonetization, and likewise, remonetization is when and if ads are re-enabled for the video. Due to the sheer amount of content on YouTube, machine learning algorithms are used for demonetization decisions, which is widely known and accepted, but these algorithms have long been a source of controversy due to the lack of transparency surrounding them. By building and analyzing a sizable YouTube dataset, we look to answer three primary questions in this paper. What are the incidence rates of demonetization decisions made by YouTube? How is the monetization process associated with channel and video characteristics? And how is demonetization associated with a channel's future growth rate? To analyze YouTube content, we decided to build a dataset since we could not find one that suited our own needs. So using a combination of the official YouTube API and distributed scrapers, we collected a significant amount of temporal data from July 22nd to September 9th of 2020, which included video metadata and details such as titles, descriptions, captions, video categories, like and view counts, all kinds of stuff. So we seeded our videos and channels from a variety of sources, which are displayed here, notably the trending videos on YouTube, videos and channels posted in controversial subreddits, and related channels and videos from others already in our dataset. Overall, we had just over 350,000 videos published by around 10,000 channels. So here you can see the distribution of channel subscriber counts for all of the channels in our dataset, and the high variance in subscriber counts allows us to analyze the relationship between channel popularity and demonetization decisions. You can also see the distribution of video categories, which are self-selected categories that are assigned by the video uploader. So what are the incidence rates of demonetization decisions made by YouTube? So here we provide a breakdown of the number of videos by monetization status and the observed monetization status transitions. We define two types of statuses for videos that have no transition, so those that have always had ads or they've never had ads. And then we have four types of transition groups, which are displayed there, which are demonetization, remonetization, monetization, and then flip-flopping back and forth. We can see that while 13.3% of the videos in our dataset experience non-monetization, only 0.5% are actually demonetization or remonetization. So of the videos that we observed that experienced unmonetized time spans, 85% of those were unmonetized from the start, and only 15% actually experienced a demonetization. Of those that were demonetized, 28% of them ended up being remonetized, which indicates a relatively high false positive rate for their automatic demonetization algorithm. Here we provide the time that it takes for videos to reach their final monetization state, where the red line is the median and the black lines are 25th and 75th percentiles. Takeaways here are that the median time to final state was 120 hours, which is far above YouTube's claim of most monetization decisions being stable after 48 hours, and that remonetization decisions take longer than demonetization decisions, which makes sense given that they have the use of the appeal process that has to be done by content creators. So 2, how is the monetization process associated with channel and video characteristics? Well, by using subscriber counts as a proxy for channel popularity, we can look at the relationship between popularity and demonetization. Here we can look at remonetization and demonetization rates that are broken down by buckets of channel subscriber counts. And we can observe the trends that larger channels appear to have lower rates of demonetization, whereas they also have higher rates of remonetization compared to smaller channels. We also here look at the time that it takes for videos to reach their final monetization state. And we find that the time that it takes for smaller channels to reach their final monetization rate is significantly longer than for larger channels, which lends credibility to different creators' concerns about preferential treatment towards larger channels. That is, smaller channels are more likely to experience higher rates of demonetization through a speedier process, but also experience lower rates of remonetization through a slower process. To understand the role of video content in demonetization, we study the rates of demonetization and remonetization conditional on word type occurrences, and video topics that are obtained from video titles and captions. One such method we used involved looking at demonetization and remonetization rates associated with video captions containing keywords from sensitive topics, such as BLM, COVID, LGBTQ content. And we see that demonetization rates are roughly in line with the baseline, but remonetization rates are lower for BLM and LGBTQ content, and it's the opposite for COVID content, which makes sense given the time span this was taken. We also look at the word types and video titles with the highest demonetization rates, and note that interestingly, the highest rate is 30.3%, which suggests that keywords alone do not automatically cause demonetization. Here we have the demonetization rates for topics automatically inferenced via topic modeling, and we manually inspect notable outliers. So for example, topic E contains political videos and has a low demonetization remonetization rate, which supports the absence of political bias in YouTube's platform moderation that has also been seen in other studies. Topic D contained copyrighted content, which was likely demonetized due to copyright infringements. But interestingly, topic F, which also saw high demonetization rates and low remonetization rates, contained Islam-related videos. So question 3, how is demonetization associated with a channel's future growth rate? By using temporal channel view counts, we can look at the change in growth rates of channels before and after demonetizations. We can define this pre-growth and post-growth period of 7 days before and after around a demonetization event, and calculate the change in growth rate for the channel. So that's a change in the growth of the channel's total view count. And this is shown here as R sub I. This is an example of a view trend for a single channel, which has the marked lines, first one being a video being added to the data set, that video being demonetized, and then that channel having another video added to the data set later on. And here we have a table that includes the average growth rate for change for a channel in a 7-day before and after period that we talked about, and includes the difference in growth change that could be attributed to demonetization. We see that channels on average see a 9.9% decline in views after a video is demonetized, which is compared to a baseline of 1.9% slightly positive growth. We found this to be significant, which supports the hypothesis that demonetization of a given video results in fewer recommendations of said video proposed in prior work. So we note that our study has limitations, which are discussed at length in the paper, but a fair amount of which are derived from a lack of transparency around YouTube's demonetization algorithms, such as being unable to distinguish creator-driven monetization decisions from algorithm-driven monetization decisions. This leads us to bring up these 3 important points around platform moderation and transparency. As debates surrounding moderation on platforms receive more and more public and regulatory attention, it's important to note that demonetization is one of the forms of content moderation and control, since it effectively results in self-censorship by creators. Second is that the absence of transparency in algorithmic decision-making impacts the ability of researchers and the public to understand the consequences of our reliance on AI. Thirdly is that the absence of transparency also negatively affects content creators and creator platform relationships, which has resulted in increasingly documented frustration, resentment, and anxiety on behalf of content creators reliant on these platforms for income. We conclude with a number of summary points. First, that demonetization is not very frequent. We only observed 0.5% of videos in our dataset ever experiencing a demonetization event. Second is that the time that it takes to arrive at a final monetization decision can be lengthy. Third is larger channels benefit from more favorable demonetization and remonetization rates, and they experience overall faster final monetization decisions. Fourth is that keyword occurrences alone cannot seem to explain demonetization decisions. Fifth is that many video topics with high demonetization rates, such as copyrighted content, are easily explainable, but others cannot necessarily be easily explained. And sixth is demonetization appears to negatively impact the growth and therefore revenue of channels. Thank you very much for your attention.